Alrighty, so I just wanted to give you a quick little overview of Obsidian because I know that a lot of people have heard of Obsidian and they've looked it up and might have even tried it, and it's complicated and it seems overwhelming, and I get that. So, full disclosure, it's what I use mainly nowadays. It's actually something that I've used for quite some time. I've used it more than once, and like all tools that I've tried, it first happened with Notion, it happened with Capacities, and it happened with Obsidian. The first time I tried it, I hated them, all of them, especially Notion and Obsidian, where to the point where I deleted my Notion account and I basically wiped Obsidian off the face of the earth when it came to my computer. I hated them at first because of just how complex they were and how they operated. I just could not stand it. So you are not alone when it comes to the complexity of using these tools. Right here, as you can see on this screen, this is what the Obsidian Vault looks like when you first get it. So it can be almost a bit overwhelming. Even I'm a little confused after using Obsidian for so long because it looks so different. For context, here's what my Obsidian Vault looks like. And so, as you can see, this looks quite different than what you are looking at right out the bat. Different colors, different ways of each of these little borders looking around. And so, if I wanted to, I have two different things here, and I just wanted to kind of make sure they're even. So if you open up Obsidian, this is what you get. This is what you could have based on that. And so just for context, I have my own, I guess you could say, operating system for life. It's more than a second brain. As you can see, I call it the Omni Brain. And so this is the system. Ignore these two note-taking files. I should put those in the archive or one of the other folders, but I got lazy. But essentially, besides these two, look at these six folders, and within them, I have the different subfolders. But this is the system I created to make it more simple. And really, you can even ignore some of the other bits here. It's mainly just yearly, quarterly, monthly, and that's what you can worry about. There's even a calendar over here to make it easier. We'll get to all that. This is not going to be a full-on tutorial on how to use Obsidian, but I wanted to give you an overview of what you are looking at because, like I said, it can be kind of overwhelming at first. And if you don't tweak it, you're not going to like it. And that's something I learned the hard way. So first and foremost, Obsidian is a note-taking tool. Unlike Notion, which is more project management focused, and even tools like Logseq, which is a little bit more, I guess you could say, it's still note-taking, but it's more kind of database note-taking, if you will. So even Logseq, which is probably the closest to Obsidian, is completely different. And so like Anytype and Define, all these tools operate differently, but Obsidian is nice because you can change it however you like. And so just to kind of give the idea, you have to go on here and turn the community plugins on, and then there's a whole world, 2,000 of plugins, but you actually don't need a lot of them. In fact, right here, Make MD is a big one that people use quite a bit. I never got it to work with my Vault, but a lot of people do like it. And I have a number of plugins installed myself, like Kanban. I don't use Calendar, but that's because I use something different. And so my point is, you can make it work the way that you like it to. Let me just switch this real quick so that way people can see my face when I'm talking. And so what I wanted to just kind of go over with you here is that Obsidian looks crazy difficult at first, but it's not quite that crazy. You have different notes and you have folders, and that's about it. Some people prefer working not within folders, and so you could have a more automated system if you use like an AI plugin that organizes things for you. Or maybe you're using a Zettelkasten, which is a methodology people use with unique IDs to find various ideas and notes. You could even use the para method that people normally use. But again, I kind of find that that's kind of outdated, and that's why I created my own PIOS, which is more based on time frame rather than areas and focus. And so on here, you have a few different options here. You have the graph view, which is what you're seeing right here. I had no notes, so if I wanted to make another note, you can see how this is populating the graph view here. And this is pretty nice. If you want to look at the graph view on my main one, I actually have it over here, which is different, but as you can see, kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of notes here. In fact, there's so many notes that it's taking a while to load. Even on a good computer, I can hear my computer getting louder. And it's one of those things where I have a lot. And so you won't have to worry about this complexity at all. I want to show it to you though, because it is pretty cool that once you get things pretty organized, and even then, I'm only like halfway organized, to be honest, when it comes to tagging and stuff like that. So each one of these green dots is a folder or a tag. Now that's not default, as you can see here, I'm pretty sure that this is a folder. And then over here is a tag. And that's not how it normally is. Normally it's just tags, but I have a plugin that basically makes folders into one of these green dots. And I just felt like that's more representative of my system that I created. Again, it's personalization. Every white dot is a note. And so whether that is a piece of content that I'm creating, such as this video will go into a note and I'll copy the YouTube link to it. So in case I ever want to reference back to this video, I have a YouTube link. At some point, I'll probably transcribe all my YouTube videos so I have an actual note of my video, but that's something I would want to do for AI training purposes or something like that. And then you can even see over here, I have a few different things going on. This is built into it. It's just a bookmark thing, but these are 3 notes that I usually go to quite often. The swimming book I'm trying to write, my branding guidelines, and affiliate links that I want to use when I send to people. So these are 3 links that I send a lot. I wanted to keep them there. This is something I actually recently installed just this week. And essentially it's literally like actually yesterday, I think. It keeps track of how many words you are writing each day. And I figured that might be a good way to motivate myself for the book. And then I have a Pomodoro timer here. And then up here is a calendar. Now, this calendar is unique. It looks like every other normal calendar you would download, like the Liam Kane one. But every dot is something that you can click. Most of the calendars, like the one that's built into the main plugin for people that usually get, like this one right here. Most people generally get this calendar and they use it for their daily notes. And so the daily note is something that all these tools generally use. I think it's, open today's daily note. And so literally that's all it is. It's just a blank note for today. And the calendar allows you to click on that day. However, I wanted to do it more based, more based on my system here. Let me close this so it doesn't keep taking up processing power. And that's based on the yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. On this particular calendar, and I'll tell you the plugin in a moment, I am able to click on any day, any week, any month, quarter, or year, and it'll bring me to that particular note, which is very convenient for this level system that I had created. And then I have one other thing over here. What is this? Oh, no, that's just a normal note, I guess. So yeah, there's not a whole lot going on when it comes to the plugins I'm using visually, but there's a lot of plugins in the background that I'm using, such as the theme, as well as the way I'm able to stylize the theme. There's even a plugin where if I press Shift twice, it brings up this command palette, which is something that a lot of people use to open up different settings and different tools that people use. The particular calendar plugin I'm using is Journals, and I feel like that's better than Periodic Notes because of the way I can set it up. Again, it takes a little bit more personalization, a little bit more setup, and I don't want to overwhelm you. So, essentially speaking, I need to stop doing that. Whenever you are messing around with Obsidian, it is all notes and folders. You can create folders, and so you can have this little test one, then drag them all in there. You can even make a note for daily notes, for example. And you can even see here, it's changing how the graph view is looking. However, it's not actually linking them together. But if I were to click on this one and then use this special little way we use linking within Obsidian, it's now linking that together. Let's go back. And now this welcome page is linking to 2 other different notes. And that is essentially the main premise behind Obsidian. And if you use this right and connect a lot of different notes together, or add tags to them to connect notes together, and you can have a very profound way of interlinking different notes and ideas. And so you could have something around polymathing, something around generalist, and have them connect together, and you can start creating this little cascade of connected notes. But that is not something that's what he talked too much about today. Templating is very important. So in case you ever wanted to do like, here's the morning, and then here's the evening part of the notes, here is a to-do, and you can make that into a template. Let's say I want to make it into a few different headings here. And then, as you can see too, I am making tags. So if I just do this tag, now I have a tag. And so now if I have this untitled thing here, let's say tag, let's go back. And now these should be linked through tags. Maybe it's not showing on the graph view, but again, you get the idea. And really, there's a lot going on here that makes it look different than what I'm using. There's a lot of core plugins that I've turned off and on. There's Canvas, which is another cool thing. It's like a mind mapping situation. In my notes, I actually turn off daily notes and use a different plugin. Like I said, journals. I have GraphView turned on, and a lot of these can be a little overwhelming. Again, you don't really need half of this. I don't have Obsidian Sync, so you don't need that. I have a templater, so I actually turn off templates and use templater. I think that's how it goes. You even there's actually a new feature where you can actually explore the web on here, which is pretty nice. And so there's a lot of different things you can do, especially when you add plugins. There's even a whole bunch of themes you can install. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm using. Might be, I don't think it's minimal, but it's one of those things where I went through this entire list and was just looking through all of them. But there's plenty of ways of customizing your Obsidian experience. I think it's Border. I think I'm using Border. Yeah, that looks right. And I actually turned off this little side pane here because I felt like there was too much going on my Obsidian. I didn't want the top menu as much. I didn't want this side panel ribbon that people use. And so in my Obsidian Vault, instead of having a ribbon over here, I have the most important ones right here. So the canvas, the graph view, the quick switcher, which I don't even use hardly at all. The templater I don't even use because there's a way to use templates otherwise. And then the Kanban view, which allows me to create a Kanban board. So there's obviously a lot of things you can do. And whenever you get around to messing around with Obsidian, just wanted to let you know that it's okay to be overwhelmed. Like I said, I hated Obsidian at first. And so I just wanted to show you, again, what I'm experiencing with Obsidian has been actually developed over the course of a long period of time. My PIOS system I created a long time ago in a different tool, and I translated it into Obsidian, and it fits really well in Obsidian. But that allowed me to adapt quicker to this new tool. And so for you, it might be like, whoa, what is going on? There's a whole crap ton of stuff going on. If you just spend some time, watch some more videos, more in-depth videos than even this one, I might make some more down the line, or just even to sit here and explore different plugins and themes and just see what you can do and play with it, you'll find more and more what you like. And yes, you're going to spend some time, developing the look of it and messing around with your dashboards and playing around with the structure, and maybe spend too much time doing that instead of actually being productive. That's okay though when you're first getting started. And then once you have set things up right, then it'll help you accelerate your progress because you actually have a system that you can rely on.